Hello, everybody. We're back. We missed a week. We celebrated a birth of a nation, and now we're back here.
Yeah, those things happen.
Celebrating a different birth of a nation today.
The movie?
For acknowledging,
Oh, no.
Thank you for acknowledging Argentinian Independence Day. That's pretty good for you.
All right.
No.
Notice how he didn't say that's a good thing or anything.
No.
He was just like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever.
It's the best thing that happened to this world.
All right. Well, I am looking good over here. Let's make sure I got YouTube up, actually. That's what I got to do. Switch accounts, YouTube Studio. Got to get away from the video I've been falling asleep to. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Scanlan.
Yeah, yes.
Correct.
That's correct.
What's that? What it was airing like 20 years ago?
Yeah, 25. Okay.
1982.
1982.
Oh, someone requested that I put the original air date in there. I should just put like 1995 or something.
Yeah.
That's my can.
Sweet music is what it is.
Somebody's typing. Right, you can turn the auto skip for voice cutscenes.
I don't like that. I just like to click the button myself.
That's weird.
Well, usually if I'm not on stream, I'll click it even faster than when the voices are done, honestly.
You don't listen to the voice acting? Oh, brother, you're...
I do sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, I finished reading already. Let's just get on with it.
Oh, God, that's right.
Really? Really? Is that right? I bet Jeff has no problem with it. I bet
What?
Jeff has
I'm not paying attention. What's up?
They're mad at me because sometimes if I finish reading line of dialogue before the voice actors are done, then I'll skip it because I've already read it. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait.
Wow, disrespectful.
What? Of course you do that. Like, yeah.
Disrespectful.
This is an important man whose time is important.
That's right. It's true. The shirt is from Ohio company.
Motherfucker watches movies in 2x speed of fucking Netflix.
Whatever this logo belongs to, the company.
Man, I wish I was playing 14 at 2x speed last night. I'm doing the end of 5.1. Literally fell asleep with all the Yule politics and shit. I'm like, what is this Phantom Menace stuff they're springing on me here? Ugh.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect your favorite Star Wars movie, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. I am looking mostly good over here. I gotta stop tweeting. Some people tweet stuff I want to respond to, so I'm just gonna turn that off. Let's look over here.
I hate those TikToks. They're like, put the video at 2x speed. It's like, what? It's your own content. What do you...
Yeah, but I think they get the same benefit because it probably means you're more likely to watch more of the video, and watch time is the most important thing on YouTube for the algorithm. So I bet that really helps.
Like, that's some love for you.
Oh yeah, no, it's completely undignified, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking pretty good over here.
Are we doing this shit? Oh.
I think so. I really don't remember how to podcast, so let me see. I think that's
It'll be
good.
fine. Did you tweet about the podcast or only tweeted about the price increase?
Only the price increase. Well, I thought I changed the thing on my thing here. Oh, I did on the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. All right, let's test this music.
I still have to record my favorite moment.
You guys hear me?
Me too.
Start cheering now!
I did pick my favorite moment. Oh, you guys hear that?
Let's get this over with.
Nope.
All right, good to know. Routing. There we go.
This is why we test these things. That's what these tests are for.
You guys hear me?
Now you hear 'em?
Start cheering
All right.
now!
That is good. And then I'll tweet, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
We good. Ah.
Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. I got to make a little bit more progress in the main story quest for Dawn Trail before I'm going to be gone for a few more days again. Oh God,
play on the deck.
I don't like playing Final Fantasy 14 controller. Can't believe my thing just flash screen. I thought I'd fix that.
You can hook up a mouse and keyboard to that baby.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
do that on the plane.
Yeah, I don't play any games I'm playing. If I do, it's usually like play something on the NES NSO thing because I know it's only going to be for like 15 minutes before I just want to like kind of either sit there in silence or fall asleep again. I am that person. I will just kind of sit there on the plane and think.
Dude, I was so sad thinking about, man, I have 2 long flights coming up. I'm gonna get so much gaming done, and then I realized, shit, the 2 games I'm playing right now are both online only.
Yeah.
Okay, I have tweeted. I have prepared my notes. Let me get the thing up there.
Balatri is a good fighting game. That's what I read. I'm fucking cook.
Yeah, you're done. You are done.
It's a good flying game. I was Saturday. I was like just watching shit and whatever, and then I got a notification. It's like you gotta like log in. Oh, what is it? You gotta. Oh fuck! I don't remember the name of this. But you had to show up. And I was like, to show up? What? Where? What? And my phone is like, and I had a tournament for Street Fighter that I totally forgot about it.
Oh.
I went 0-2 for the World Warrior. I got disqualified right away.
Hell yeah.
I
was like, oh shit.
What was I playing on the Switch? I was just talking about it today on the Bombcast. No, I don't remember.
Monkey Ball?
Yeah, Monkey Ball's one of them, but
Monkey Ball.
there was another one that I was just playing.
I guess I could pull up the Bombcast.
Yeah, I was gonna. I'll do it. Yeah, I got it right here.
Let's see. Star Wars Hunters is the other one, Jeff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's what it is. Very memorable. All right, I am good. Mike, are you ready? If I were to count us in,
I'm good to go.
All right, we are starting in 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Nintendo won't fix your Wii U no more. Nintendo's president says that game development cycles becoming longer is unavoidable. Also talks about AI a bit. But first, I want to hear from my good buddy, the returning champion, Jeff Grubb. Welcome back home. I hope your travels were well.
Yeah, it went great. It was a good time. I enjoyed myself. I like up north in Michigan. It was cool to just go to a bunch of lakes and hang out and do fun stuff and see some of Steph's family, things like that. It was a good time. Played some games. It was fun overall.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You feel revitalized from the vacation,
No, definitely got home yesterday. Got home Sunday. I'm like, I'll probably be ready for work, and I just wasn't. I was like, I could like barely get out of bed. So slept through most of yesterday, and now I feel a lot better. It's definitely one of those things where, as a parent, like you go take the family somewhere, and it's like, well, we should do stuff, and so it's like we were doing stuff every day, and then that means like not just getting myself ready, but getting a whole cavalcade of people out to a place. And yeah, it was exhausting. It was always worth it, but it was exhausting. But now I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to get back in the swing of things. I definitely like being back on the routine just as much as going on the vacation, which is nice. I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of fun. Like, oh, now the routine is exciting again. So it's always good. Yeah, I got a trip starting tomorrow. Just a small work one. I can't say any specifics about. But I kept like telling myself it's just this tiny trip, so I never I haven't been thinking about it much. But now it's like, oh, that's tomorrow. So,
how many days are you gone?
Oh, basically just I'll be back on Monday.
Okay.
You not much. I'm going to miss Game as a size. You're gonna need to get somebody for that. But otherwise, I shouldn't be missed too much. But it is like, oh gosh, I got to pack. Like Penny had a vet appointment today, which is good because I'm taking her to boarding tomorrow. So all of her shots are updated now. Gosh, Penny turns 13 in a couple days, by the way. I thought she was going to turn 13, and then I said that to somebody, and they were like, no, she's going to be 12. What are you talking about? And I immediately believed them. So now I'm a little blindsided. Like, oh, great, now my dog is a year older than I thought for a moment there. Jeez. But Penny's actually doing pretty good, so that's fine.
Good. Yeah, and Nico's like 13 now, 12 or 13, something in there. Pretty wild.
Yep. Those are some older ages. You can't she can't get on the bed her own anymore, which is a problem because she's always had a small bladder, and she gets older, that gets worse. So she has to like go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and she uses the pee pad, so that's fine. But like I gotta get up to get her up. So just like having even like the little sleep interruption is kind of annoying. But what am I going to do? I'm not gonna make her sleep on the floor. Maybe I'll sleep on the floor with her. I'll just get used to that life. It'll be easier for all of us.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. But that's not the dog that we're talking about today.
No.
We're Nintendogs. We got
How about us, the last of the Nintendogs?
Yes. We do have some Nintendo news to talk about here, kind of with the Wii U, believe it or not, because Nintendo is going to stop repairs for the console as of July 3rd, so it's already happened because they're out of the parts. They have ran out of the parts needed to repair, which is just a really funny thing to say to me. So... little bit of a bummer that you can't get any official repair support for the Wii U. I don't know, though. Like, the Wii U was never a very faulty console, right? Compared to some other ones.
Right. It was definitely in the Fisher-Price aesthetic, but also, like, you know, usually that indicates with Nintendo that it's something that could just last forever, and it mostly has. I bet those sticks on the like Wii U gamepad, I bet that is something that occasionally breaks or whatever, but that's probably not too difficult to replace yourself with third-party parts. So I would continue using mine just as much as I have been, which is to play Super Mario Maker once every couple of months.
Yeah, it makes sense that like the gamepad is more concerned than the actual console in a lot of ways, right? Right, which that thing never felt super premium, anyways.
Right,
right. That was never an amazing screen on that thing, anyways. Apparently, Lionheart's mentioning there's some kind of disc issue if you don't turn it on every month or so. I don't know about that, but I believe him. Apparently, it bricked theirs, so yeah. There will be problems, and you know it sucks you can't get official support anymore, especially because there are still reasons to play a Wii U, especially if you like The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. You have a very big reason to play the Wii U. I've almost been hankering to plug my Wii U again. It's been so long, but more than anything because I'm beginning to lose hope for the Metroid Prime 2 remaster. So I'm like, I guess I'm gonna play my Wii copy of Metroid Prime Trilogy on my Wii U, right? So yeah, that might be happening.
That's one way to play it, I guess. There's other ways that are better, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, you think I should use the mouse and keyboard mod for the?
I mean, you don't have to use mouse and keyboard. You could use a controller, and it's better on there as well. Yeah, like every way you want to play it, they have accounted for with the Prime Hex version of Dolphin.
Just do that.
It's very cool to play it with a mouse and keyboard. I'll say that for sure. Like 100%, that is neat. I have not like played through all one of those games that way, but I could easily see myself doing that. But you know, even just getting it up and running on the Steam Deck, that's great too. It runs great on there and it works really well. So yeah, but bunch of great ways to play those games. I still hope though that Nintendo comes through with those. Again, as far as I know, just sitting there.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be so quick to lose faith.
Mike, who knows? I don't think you're wrong to be skeptical. It's Nintendo. Who knows when they decide to just like, it's just sitting there. That doesn't mean they have to release it either. Who knows how they think about these things? I
definitely want to play 2 and 3 before 4 comes out, right? So like,
same.
At some point,
I feel that too.
Do it.
Yeah, I feel that as well. That's 2 is the one I beat, but I don't remember as much because I've just replayed 1 so many times. And again, I've never really played 3, so I'll probably find a time to do that.
Dolphin is getting retro achievements now, right? So that'll be fun. It's not I think that's interesting. It's not some huge deal to me,
sure,
but yeah, hey, why not?
It's definitely one of those things. Like when a game comes to NSO and then I end up playing on another device, it is one of those things where it's like, oh, this just gets these things back in my brain, and now I'm thinking about them in an active way, and that makes me a little bit more excited to go back and play those games. And it's an excuse as much as anything else. I like retro achievements. I am not some adherent to it or anything.
So this one now is from Nintendo Life via a recent investor Q&A. Nintendo president says longer game development cycles are unavoidable. During the most recent shareholder Q&A, Shintaro Furukawa mentioned how game development today is more prolonged, more complex, and more advanced. And to deal with this, Nintendo must continually expand its development resources and make necessary investments. Nintendo's senior managing executive officer and corporate director Shinya Takahashi reiterated how it was inevitable for software development cycles to increase as hardware advances, but at the same time thinks Nintendo is succeeding in its efforts to shorten overall development cycles by steadily improving the development environment. Jeff, I think, this is the thing that concerns me the most about video games is how we have these longer development cycles. And I kind of worry a bit how everyone sort of just throws their hands up as like, oh, well, I guess that's just the way it's going to be now. Even as the returns on all of that, like time and money invested seems to be like getting us less and less further along, right? Like the differences doesn't show up on the screen as much as it used to. I don't know how you're feeling about all this.
I mean, I'll say on the one hand, I'm 100% with you when you say that this is the thing that I am the most concerned about. Me too. It is definitely the albatross around gaming's neck at the moment. The sort of kind of nonstop baseline assumption that the next year's games are going to be bigger and more technologically impressive than last year's games. And we've had that from the beginning. So why wouldn't we assume we're going to continue to get that? But these things taper off obviously we've had diminishing returns for years and years and years. So that, I mean, I think the expectation is like should be built in at this point, but we've just had decades where we think that the games are going to be better and look better. So we assume that they're going to, and these companies have to play into that marketing a little bit because it's been a strategy that's worked in the past. Now, I think the kind of good news for Nintendo is they aren't just throwing up their hands. They are saying that it's a risk, it is a problem, it is something that has caused, that is something that they're trying to be mindful of. But I think they are at the same time and being like, and we are also making a variety of games across a variety of scopes and tiers of expectations and what they can look like. And so, yeah, we're going to have games that will take longer and longer and be bigger and bigger. Like, clearly that's going to happen. That happened with Zelda. But then we are going to have these smaller games that maybe can fit into these 3-year development cycles instead. But what they can't do is go to investors and say that this isn't going to be a problem, because they know it's going to be. For their biggest games, it will be an issue.
I'm going to pretend like I heard everything you said and wasn't futzing with my camera. And
you've heard it all before.
On Discord. I'm going to kill this webcam that works completely fine on OBS, but then on Discord it just has a lot of issues. Apparently.
You know what you could do? Well, yeah, you could like just put it through OBS and then use the virtual camera in OBS.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, I caught enough of what you said, and yeah, I'm glad that like Nintendo at least seems to have some plans. At least they're aware of it. I get worried with them, I guess, now maybe making 4K games because it's becoming an issue more. But even without that, we were 7 or 7.5 years between Zelda games, right? Like, so it was the longest wait ever. And it was even with them kind of, making a game that we thought was pretty similar to the preceding one, that we thought that maybe that would help them. And it just didn't. I think I talked about this on the Bombcast, but it kind of blew my mind when I was watching the Metal Gear Solid 4 speedrun. And they were like, yeah, this game came out, it was kind of the 10th anniversary of Metal Gear Solid 1. I was like, wow, Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4 came out in a 10-year period. That is insane. Nothing like that can happen again now. No,
we are in a completely different world. There is no going back to that. It just cannot be that way again. And I think we could say why. Why couldn't we just like put limits on what these games can be? Because the company next door won't put those limits on themselves, and then their games will, supposedly look so much better than yours, and you'll look like a joke. Now, again, that doesn't happen to Nintendo. People try to make that point. I don't know, that tweet went around. Actually, I came back from vacation and I opened up my computer, and I leave it on because sometimes I remote into it, and the tweet I had left up was someone being like, Nintendo's, because they were talking about this topic, and they're like, Nintendo's just going to rip you off by making smaller games that still cost $60 and they look like mobile games. And it's like, okay, you could try to make this point, but everyone's super happy that they're releasing a new top-down Zelda. Like, people are like ecstatic about that, where they get to play as Zelda. And again, Nintendo's doing it, and they're figuring it out, and people will show up and buy those games in the millions, if not, in some cases, tens of millions. But it's Nintendo, and they are different, and everyone else sort of can't play by those rules. But even Nintendo, recognizing that like that gravitational pull of the need to be technologically impressive and keeping up with the Joneses is also going to affect their games, is just a sign that if you're not Nintendo, you definitely need to be keeping up with the Joneses, which is unfortunate. But I in the meantime, like, what's the alternative? It's going to be a bunch of like these companies like bumping their head in the wall, trying to be more creative or establish an identity, kind of like Devolver has, where they're like, oh no, our games are smaller, but they have a voice. And it's like, that took them years to do. And these bigger companies, like, could you imagine an EA trying to like shift to be like a Devolver? That would be a fucking joke. It would be a mess.
I mean, the one company that really did try to be like, we can make smaller games too, was Xbox. We were getting things, like Pentiment, and Hi-Fi Rush, if you want to consider that, even like Battletoads, right? And I was kind of happy about that, but that was all kind of with this Game Pass model that maybe didn't work. I mean, just before we went on here, there's a huge shakeup to how Game Pass is working. It seems confusing and complicated. Of course, there's a price increase involved with it. I think we all expected that, but they're also kind of getting rid of a tier and adding a new tier, and day one releases isn't always a part of what you're getting anymore. So that's a whole other basket over there.
Yep. It's it's a mess. And I think a lot of these companies are, you said it earlier in this conversation, survive to 25 and kind of figure out what everything looks like after this. And in the meantime, just try to skate by on momentum and don't make a lot of investments right now because you're afraid you don't understand what's going to work. And none of that is really a good idea. Like, none of that is a great strategy, but it just means that when we start asking these questions about, well, the industry is bloated and weird and has all these inherent problems, what are the answers? Well, these companies aren't even actively looking into other solutions. They are just trying to stop the bleeding in some ways. So we're going to have to get through this year and maybe into next year to really figure out if these companies have any ideas that might work, that might be different. And in the meantime, everyone's going to be like, well, I hope GTA 6 comes out and gets everyone playing games again.
Furukawa also talked about AI. How about that? The quote here is, generative AI, which has been a hot topic in recent years, can be more creative, but we also recognize that it has issues with intellectual property rights. Our company has decades of know-how in creating optimal gaming experiences for our customers. While we are flexible in responding to technological developments, we hope to continue to deliver value that is unique to us. It cannot be created through technology alone. So that last part there is great to hear. And there's a lot of other gaming presidents or CEOs, Jeff, they're just kind of being like, yeah, we think AI is great and maybe it'll make us more money, investors. And Nintendo doesn't have to be quite as butt kissy with investors as a lot of other companies, because investors just really like Nintendo and trust Nintendo.
Yeah. And they
so
kind of
hear this.
It's because they kind of want to be talked to in a dismissive way by Nintendo, because that gives them more confidence, like they know better than we do, sort of thing, and they do.
Right. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about with I guess there are intellectual property rights issues with AI. That's
right.
That's fair.
So several companies are suing, like several music labels are suing most of these generative AI music tools right now for copyright infringement because they're trained on their music. It's a huge thing happening right now. Yes.
Oh, good. I hope they win, because it's true.
Yes.
Right. Every time go ahead.
I was gonna say, and people pointed out that like Nintendo does use AI, like they use the voice, an AI voice thing for Endless Ocean, which, that's whatever. Yeah, they published that game, so that counts. Yeah, that's not the same thing, because I don't think there's any suggestion that AI voice was trained on generative AI models, like deep learning models, or large language systems or anything like that. It seems to be like one of those voice tools that have been around for forever that they just use. Like, fucking Macintosh has had that stuff built in for decades. So it's like just one of those things. Now, if you want to say, well, that like one can lead into the other, sure, but not in the way that he's talking about. He's talking about avoiding IP copyright infringement issues and paying for a tool that does not have those issues versus using a tool that does. Those are two different things. So I tend to believe them here, because Nintendo would be very conservative about this stuff. A company that fully understands the power of suing people for doing things that infringe on copyright, they would probably want to be very careful with that stuff. So I don't think they're going to expose themselves to this until it's settled. Also, investors are starting to fall out of love with AI. I don't know if people saw this week, it was Merrill, it was one of the big investment companies, investment banks, I can't remember which one, just wrote a note to investors saying that they no longer fully believe in the promises of AI, and they don't think it can do all the things that these people are saying it can do. And mostly that's because when the people that do run these AI models say, here's what we're going to be able to do in the future, but to do that, it's going to cost even more money to train these things and even more energy. They're like, wait, why is it getting more expensive as we go on instead of less expensive? Shouldn't it be becoming more affordable if this is really the technology of the future? And the reality is there's just no way to make it do those things unless you brute force it, which is not something that is going to take over the world. It's going to be expensive and bad in the same ways it's been bad from the beginning.
Yeah, it seems like whenever we have like some big mainstream, like
Goldman
here's some
Sachs,
AI
thanks, Nick.
thing. whenever like McDonald's does it and it like stops immediately, or when I think about like generative AI video game stuff or whatever, I'm thinking about those GTA remasters and how it just did a real shitty job in a lot of ways. So I never thought Nintendo was gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna use AI to create enemies or levels for the next Mario game, but I'm still nice that they're not even pretending to gesture at that.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's just nice to see one of the big leaders in the space say to investors, fuck no, we're not doing that. That's crazy. And they're right.
Of course not. Of course not. Like, and they're like, yeah, we're Nintendo. The whole point is that we make things. Like,
right, yeah.
All right. Like that's the whole point.
We built a way of making things that has worked consistently for decades. Why would we change it now?
All right, Jeff, that's it for our news topics here. Why don't we take a little break? We'll come back. We'll read some super chats.
That sounds good.
Cool. All right, we're on the break.
Man, I feel so bad. This epic saga of Bailey and Jenny dealing with these bed bugs.
Oh, my God.
And then a delayed flight, and they're tweeting through it. I'm like, oh, my God, this sounds like a fucking nightmare. I just feel so bad for them.
I feel so bad. They had fun when I was around. See,
sure, yeah, of course.
They should have never stopped hanging out
Yeah,
with
they should
me.
keep doing that.
Yeah.
I hope they don't have a bad impression of Pittsburgh now.
Good stuff.
All right, we can get back to the podcast.
Whenever you're ready.
No, I did not give them bed bugs. That was the Wyndham. Which is where Awesome Games Done Quick is held, by the way. So
really?
Let's not stay there. It's a good thing we just drive up to that.
Yeah, let's just drive up.
We will not be sleeping there. All right, Jeff, we're back. Let's see what these super chats are all about.
Sure, I got a bunch right here. It looks like we took a week off and people have been wondering what we're thinking. Let's do this right now with Cody Bishop, who says, have you seen that Microsoft just increased Game Pass pricing and removed day one game access for console-based plans? And shitification continues. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, if people go back and listen to a Bombcast a couple weeks ago where we discussed what if all this stuff happened. Weird, huh? Yeah. Look, I put this on Twitter, and this is how I felt for a while. Game Pass is clearly not the thing it was going to be for them, and they are, now that the Activision deal went through, they're looking past Game Pass now, and that's what this is. Where it's not going to, they're not going to get rid of it. They're going to have it there as one of the tools in their bag, but nothing more than that. It is for the people that want to get stuff that way. They're happy to take their money, and they will ask for more money for it going forward. But the way that they are going to primarily make money going forward is by releasing probably big, massive games that have a lot of microtransactions, like Call of Duties and stuff from King. Yeah, so I don't know. Game Pass being this big disruptive force clearly is just not going to work right in this moment. And I know people will point to it. It's going to Fire Stick as some example of something, and I just don't know what people think that is. Yeah, okay. It's an app on the Amazon Fire Stick. That is not going to change anything, guys. Come on, let's be realistic here.
So it's Tubi.
Right. Exactly. Sure, it's going to do Tubi numbers, everybody. Tubi's free, so I don't know. It might not do Tubi numbers.
I just like saying the word Tubi.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, God, that's good
stuff.
So
you're saying it's not to be.
It's, oh, fucking Christ. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you for being more eloquent.
Got him.
Next one from Cody Bishop. Have you played the new Oregon Trail game?
There's a new one?
I did not know this, but I would love to because I did watch that game in Historian video, and which was fucking, his stuff is so good. Honestly, his documentary on Tetris is actually so much better than the Tetris movie from Apple TV.
That's yeah, it's funny like that because I think I haven't seen Disney Plus's Jim Henson documentary, but my kind of like thoughts, I was like, the Fuckland did like a really good one already, and I feel like this is not going to be as good as that.
Right. I'll look into this. I'll check it out. You know, the people that originally made, you would because you watched the thing from Gaming Historian, but they didn't really make any money off it. The people that made that in a closet at junior high. Yep. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll check that out.
They published it in like one of those magazines or something, so the code was just, I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was just out there.
So Gameloft did this new version. Well, it looks like this version first came out in 2021. And now, like, it's on PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay. Now. I think I've seen that version, the Gameloft version. That sounds familiar.
I think that's what's going on here. Yeah, okay. It's been on Switch since 2022, even, maybe. I liked Oregon Trail 2, the first CD-ROM one. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm trying to, like, I wonder, like, which version was mine. It was an early Apple II one, monochrome, I think. But I haven't like tracked it down to like see like, oh, that's the one I played in school.
Sure.
But I'd like to do that. Colonel Wood says, so does Nintendo raise, Nintendo Switch Online prices next? Did they did. They have done that once, right? Or maybe not?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I wonder if they would. I mean, if they do it again, it's got to line up with either adding new consoles to it or maybe just, launching the Switch 2 or something like that. I mean, at some point in the grand history of the existence of the NSO, which is going to at least stretch through the Switch 2, the prices will go up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the prices will likely go up at the beginning of this next system, and they'll probably introduce some new stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they ever increased the prices, but they did. They introduced that Nintendo Switch Online Plus tier, which is where you get like Nintendo 64 games and stuff.
Right, $50 per year instead of $20 per year. Mike, I meant to put this in the news today on the Bombcast. I don't know if I actually ended up reading it, and I don't know. We didn't discuss it here, as far as I remember. We've only been doing this an hour. Did you see the rumors about maybe GameCube coming to NSO because of the controller that was found?
Okay, I did see this. I didn't know how much stock to put into it. I mean, I did. There are other reasons you could release a GameCube controller aside from just having NSO, although usually it is because they have NSO.
Right, and the person that discovered it was like, look, I get being skeptical, but all the stuff that I found is very similar to what happened with those other controllers, at least as far as I could read it, yeah.
Man, it'd be wild. Can you imagine, though, how disappointing it'll be when we finally see Nintendo's GameCube emulator?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we have. I mean, we've played Mario Sunshine on the All-Star Collection. I mean, I would hope so. It'd be interesting because, they could still put original versions of games on there, like the original Thousand Year Door and Metroid Prime, even though we have the remasters. You can still do stuff like that. It flies just fine. And there's a lot of other GameCube games like Wario World that they're clearly not going to do something bigger with. I hope so. It's funny how I still can't believe it, even though, again, at this point, the GameCube is basically as old as the Nintendo 64. It has just always felt like the difference, right? But yeah, we even got Pikmin 1 and 2 are separate games you just buy still, right?
Yeah.
On Nintendo Switch.
When we talk it out, my skeptical position remains. I don't think this is necessarily happening. It could happen on Switch 2, but even that feels a bit early based on... I mean, you said the line is between N64 and GameCube. For a long time, the line was N64, where it's like, well, no, we're going to repackage these games and sell these games and remake them for 3DS and stuff like that. Even that line... The Wii had Nintendo 64 games on Virtual Console. Right. That line's been passed a while. You're right, definitely. But I mean, they were selling those for
still remake those games.
Yeah, and they were also selling those games for $10 versus the $5 you get NES for.
That's a way you can either increase the price or make another new tier. We can have NSO Plus. We're paying $70 a year for the privilege of GameCube games.
I mean, I don't I think this will happen eventually. I just don't know when. It doesn't feel necessarily they would pull the trigger right away on a Switch 2, but if they did, I'd be happy. Chrono Rig says, hey dogs, do you think Nintendo will announce a price increase for the Switch 2 Online at their Switch 2 conference if they have one, or will they wait a year or two after the Switch 2 is out? I think they will announce a price increase at the Switch 2, maybe not the announcement of the Switch 2, but to go alongside the release of the Switch 2, but they would also need to add more to it, and I just don't know what that looks like if it's not GameCube.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some other older consoles you can do, like TurboGrafx or Master System. And look, that gets me excited. I don't know how many other people, right? I think if I was to talk about how much I like the TurboGrafx, I'd be screamed at for being a boomer.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And I mean, Saturn, boy, that'd be nice, but Saturn's hard to emulate, and it seems like they're not even getting any more Genesis games these days, right?
Do you think you could say, oh, I'm way into the PC engine, and that way it's oh man, that's exotic, and that's how you get away with it?
I think TurboGrafx means more than even PC engine.
Oh, that's my point, right? I'm trying to skirt around it being called a boomer.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, I thought you meant for marketing purposes.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's that sounds like we're into the Commodore 64, and that's so old. That's kind of intellectually interesting.
Exactly, that's what I'm going for. Yeah. Let's see, Jacob Bench. Final Fantasy 14 plays well on controller. It's all I play it on.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I know a lot of people like playing controller. It's just not for me, really. I don't know. It's fine. I play it. I played that game maybe more than any other video game. I'm just very used to playing on mouse and keyboard. I also like don't really want to be playing Final Fantasy 14 when I'm traveling. If I'm playing a game while I'm traveling, it's just gonna be some who's what's it on my Switch that I'm maybe gonna play like 10 or 15 minutes before I go to bed or during a little downtime. I'm not looking to log into something.
Yeah, I was setting up the Steam Deck on the TV with the dock so we could play some like party games with the family. And while I was downloading stuff, I was like, I'll just go to Elden Ring. And then it's like about 10 tries with Bale, and that's when I beat him. So I just like beat him like in a random little session there when I was like, I wasn't even sure I was going to play Elden Ring, but here we are.
You need to watch a video of doing that fight with the helper guy because his screaming is just incredible.
Okay, hell yeah. Yeah, I heard that the voice actor really went for it, and that made me feel bad, so.
Yeah, yeah, well, because you killed him.
Because I killed him, yes, correct.
You're a murderer.
That's right. See, L. Grug says, I haven't watched the Bombcast yet, but did you guys discuss how Nikki eats Oreos? Like, how would you even think of using a fork there? Wait, what?
What?
Psychopath.
I didn't.
Oh, do you guys
Sean,
not know
please.
about this?
People have brought up to me that I need to
Sean.
investigate how Nikki eats Oreos, but
Okay.
no one's explained to me how
So
Nikki eats
Nikki
Oreos.
Grayson
The long way?
grabs a coffee mug from the pantry,
Okay.
puts the Oreos in. I maybe mix up the orders here, but stick with me.
Correct.
All right, Oreos in first. Pours milk over it like it's cereal. Grabs a fork from the pantry and then eats said Oreos as if they're cereal in milk.
Okay, listen, that's a lot, but
I'm watching this now. It's very upsetting.
But it's like people dip their Oreos in milk. This is just one step
Why
further.
get the fork involved?
Listen, I wouldn't do it. I think it's kind of crazy, but it's not like so far afield.
Like this got brought up in the stream we did yesterday for ZZZ on Giant Bomb, and so my reaction was, look, I'm sure this tastes amazing, but the method you took to get here is insanity.
Yes.
It's crazy that they were making fun of you because you just drink milk. Which is okay.
That's how it started. They were
That's
just like,
true.
look at this loser drinks
Look,
milk
I think
sometimes.
you're both wrong. You should all stop using milk as anything but like an ingredient for sauces and desserts. That's it.
What's your
You use
fruit
it for-
intake looking like, Doctor's son?
Dr. Son.
I get most of my dairy from cheese.
Sometimes I will, when I get down to the end of the Tostitos, just mix it in with the salsa and eat that with a fork. Because you don't have like enough surface area to actually get any salsa on the chip.
That's
Oh,
normal.
that's fine. Yeah, that's like a
normal.
walking taco. You ever have that?
Yeah,
Fritos
sure.
bag?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
That's great.
Yeah, excellent.
That's a thing. You're fine.
All right, let's see here. Poke Egg says, I've bought 2 Anbernic handhelds now, and it's all Grubb's fault. PS1 games saved my boredom on a 6-hour flight, though, so I guess it was worth it? Yeah, of course it was worth it. Listen, you can't start questioning if this is worth it, because then all of this falls apart, all right? You got to just keep charging ahead and get the next one.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in. You can't start second guessing yourself.
Right,
now.
right, because then it's like, well, was any of this worth it? Was any video game I've ever played worth it? No, stop that thinking now.
Yeah. That's dangerous.
Baba is me says, welcome back, boys. Just wanted to thank Grubb for recommending Masters of Doom. Great book that helps fill in what happened between Doom and Daikatana and such. Also renewed my Patreon for another year. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, the Masters of Doom is definitely one of those canonical books of the video game industry where I'm like,
console war.
yep. To the point where it's like, that is an easy one to recommend to everybody. You'll get a lot out of that. So, and that's where when I was mentioning, I assume everyone but me has already read this, and I think a lot of people have. But if you haven't, definitely check it out.
I really should.
Yeah, it's very
I really
good.
should. That's what I should do for the flight. Is either get the audiobook or download that.
The audiobook is, I think they have it on like that library app that I always use. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, but I have an Audible subscription, so I may as well take advantage
I
of
did
that.
get it from Audible too. So, all right, let's see here. Ellie Miracle says, it's too damn hot. Have AI make the West cooler. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think AI is making the West hotter.
Yes, it's definitely making the planet
With all
hotter.
the energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot in Kennywood. I'll tell you what. I was feeling it. I had a couple bathroom trips that are mostly just about trying to wash my forehead off a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, God, it would. Yeah, it was. it was awesome up in northern Michigan. It was like 70, like 68 all week, and then to come back here and have it immediately be like 85.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it sucked. That was Allie Merkel's one right there. The Uncharted Wolf says, do you guys think PlayStation coming back to Tokyo Game Show was a Herman Holst decision? I'm beginning to feel more confident with him at the helm. Sorry, Jimbo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like the kind of thing where that would be pretty quick to turn things around. Like, these things have to be budgeted a certain amount of time ahead of time for them to, like, we have the budget to go to Tokyo Game Show. Is that something we have already earmarked at the beginning of the year? If not, then that's going to be hard to pull off. But I do think Jim Ryan had sort of a, we don't need these shows sort of way of thinking. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but I don't know for sure. Let's see here. Simon Esty says, I got my first writing gig for Kotaku last week. Well done, Simon. That's awesome.
Awesome. Congratulations.
You've both been a huge inspiration to pursue this. Aww. So thanks a ton. And I hope you had a great 4th. Thank you so much, Simon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Link your story in chat if you're here.
Link your story in chat. That'd be great. We'd love to see that.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Keep at it, everybody.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Thank you.
Adam GC says, not going to lie, that Oreo cereal sounds incredible.
Well, there was actual Oreo cereal back in the day.
It is literally the cereal my kids eat every day now. Oreo O's.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Then. I thought Oreos were kind of disgusting. They did not taste like Oreos to me. They had a waxy property to them that I did not enjoy.
Can I tell you the thing that had me the most pleased last week when I was on vacation?
Sure.
I might have even had texted you about it. If I didn't, I meant to.
Was it the Rainforest Cafe?
No, the Rainforest Cafe was excellent. I did. Yes, I had a good time there. No, we had a pizza night, and I ordered several different kinds of pizzas, but plenty of cheese pizza. And guess what? Every kid ate there. Every single child asked for the cheese pizza.
Aren't you?
And I was just like, that's right, child. That's right.
Well, did any of the adults have cheese pizza too?
Not really, no. I think one did, but the picky eater. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, then you mocked him.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Dr. Ryan says, Nikki's way is weird, but I support the fork use. I spear my Oreos in the cream and dunk them with a fork. Keeps my fingies clean. Listen, I'm all for any food eating strategy that involves not touching food.
Really?
Yeah, like using the chopsticks to eat Doritos. I don't eat Cheetos because I hate dust on my fingers. I hate it.
Really? Man, I think I prefer when my
issues.
Fingers are involved. I wish I could eat more things. I wish I could eat ramen with my fingers. There should be more.
You can. No one's stopping you other than polite society.
All right, I'm going to do that next time.
Yeah, I just I won't go so far as to use a fork and knife with pizza. Like, I wouldn't do that unless it was like a New York style slice that's so big it's just awkward.
God, I still remember before my dad brought this guy invited this guy to dinner because he was going to be like a new partner in his office, and my mom made pizza. And he ate the pizza with fork and knife, and me and my brothers just thought he was an absolute freak. It was not a good impression to give us.
What kind of pizza was it? Just like a normal, like hand tossed pizza that you would definitely eat with your hands?
It was like a thicker pizza for sure.
Fine too.
He got away, but look, it's just eat the pizza with your hands. It's pizza.
Yes,
it's pizza.
Right. The only time that I would use a fork and a knife are Chicago deep dish.
Well, sure.
Which is basically a pasta. And then, like I said, a giant New York slice that's so thin you can't even do the fold it in half thing, which is what I normally do. But if you can't do that, then whatever. I'll just eat it with a fork and knife. All right, where are we at? Smooth Life says, haven't felt compelled to play Switch in anticipation of Switch 2. My 3DS is getting lots of playtime. Classic Pokemon, Zelda remakes, much more. Yeah, I feel that a little bit. The 3DS has definitely been coming to mind more frequently. I got mine out the other day. Made sure it was charged. It died almost immediately. I meant to replace the battery and never did. But yeah, I like that thing.
I actually just plugged in my 3DS again. But what I really want is my DS Lite, which I gotta dig around for a little bit because I want to play Order of Ecclesia. Yeah. And I could do that on the 3DS, but I probably want to do that on a DS Lite. Yeah. Really.
You can if you use a hacked 3DS, the Twilight Plus, if you hold down, I think select. When you start Twilight Plus, it will use the native DS resolution and actually look pretty good. So.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is a hacked 3DS. The other thing is I hacked my 3DS and then only ever put in the orchestrated soundtrack for Dragon Quest VIII and nothing else. So I should maybe mess around with that a little bit more.
I mean, if you already have the HShop and the downloader tool, like the Universal Uploader, it's basically just an app store.
Yeah, maybe I'll do this 3DS.
Small
on this
thing,
trip.
Jeff. The whole DS thing that works on any 3DS. The like aspect ratio thing.
Yeah. What did I say? Did I say new 3DS?
Yeah, it just sounded like you're saying that only worked on hacked 3DSs. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Okay, cool, excellent. That is what I was saying. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Very cool. All right. Let's see here. Willow Davis tried Sonic 06 today. I can't believe it's that bad. Why not?
It's
easy
rough.
to believe.
Why can't? What's on Games Done Quick? Somebody like ran the PC like fan version of the game. Like it's kind of like a remake of it, and it like fixes a lot of the bugs and stuff. It's still Sonic 06. But apparently that makes it better. But part of me is like, man, if I'm going to play Sonic 06, I feel like I should like really kind of go in on the shit. Like,
yeah,
I want the load times.
Yeah, I want to see all of it.
Glitches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's us. We're Blight Club boys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it for the super chats.
Project 06 is what that's called. Thank you, Willow Davis. Yeah, so probably an interesting way to check that game out if you're curious. But I don't know. I do want to play Sonic 06 some point in my life, Jeff. It's a problem now, but I don't know if I'm gonna just track down my 360 and get that going, or do that.
I mean,
do PS3 emulation.
Eventually, we'll have reasons to circle back around on stuff for Blight Club, like for like Extra Life and stuff, right? So
eventually it'll be fun to be like, now Jeff Grubb plays RoboCop or something like that.
Right, exactly. Well, we'll have reasons to do that. So I think keeping those things in our back pocket is always a good idea.
All right, let's take another break. We got the mailbag to get to. I think I hear the mailman's truck coming this way. So get ready. Prep yourself up. Psych yourself up to go attack that mailbag. We'll be right back.
All right.
Count on what? Dan already did Sonic 06. That was the first Blight Club. It's right there for you. Go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
The first ever.
Yeah.
Wow, you timed that exactly with the automated time that the YouTube wanted to play an ad, and I didn't stop it, and now it's like 15 seconds in. Very cool.
Oh,
nice.
That's pretty. It's crazy.
It's crazy, too.
Should I wait then?
I mean,
well, we can get back to it.
Yep, whenever you want.
All right.
And we are back. Jeff, here he is. Come on, go get him. Go get the mailman. Get some letters for me. Easy boy. Easy. Okay, that's enough. All right, let him. Okay, we need him to live. He's got to continue bringing us mail. All right.
He's going to hump his leg for a while. Just give me a second.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, no. Look, I'm the only one who's supposed to be beating the meat circus. Evo Janice says, I just need the boys to know that Jenny Nicholson's dad worked on the original Bubsy. Yes. You could see Bungie plush in her backgrounds of videos. That is true,
I definitely noticed that. I'm like, why the hell is that there? And then
now you know.
Discovered, yeah.
So now you have beef, right?
Yeah. I think we talked about it a little bit at Disney.
It did come up.
It came up, and so then I attacked her.
There's nothing wrong with the original Bubsy. Is just a fine 2D platform. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's in the middle of that pack, which has a lot in the middle of the pack of those. It's like
better than Awesome Possum.
Right, exactly. But it's about the same as most of those other mascot platformers. It's about the
same as Arrow the Acrobat. Yeah.
Exactly.
And nowhere near as good as Rocket Knight Adventure.
Sure.
Jamie. Well, you better. Jamie H1224 says there were rumors that Xputer last week of a mobile port of Final Fantasy 14 being worked on by Square and Tencent. If this comes to fruition, do you think it'll pave the way for an eventual port for Switch 2? I kind of hope a Switch 2 port happens either way. I have to imagine that's something that they would like to make happen. Mobile port is interesting, though. You can get Final Fantasy 14 to work on consoles with controllers, but you still need a lot of those buttons. If you have a mobile version of it, I know you can connect controllers to it, but it has to work natively.
Right, but you can do a lot of context stuff, right? Where it's like the button appears when it. Well, I mean, or you could do
hotbars.
Well, yeah, but you could do wheels sort of thing, where when you're holding down your finger here, the wheel pops up, and then you could select anything from that wheel.
There are some jobs in the game that at any time have one of 20 buttons they could push.
Sure.
It's a lot. Maybe it can work. I have a hard time seeing it, but obviously that would be something that they would like to do. Get it on as many platforms as possible, because again, they still want to grow, right? They want to get more players in it. At this point, right. How are you going to do that anymore?
Let me ask you. They're not going to have a new Final Fantasy MMO anytime soon, right?
No.
So this is, you got to grow this one. Which
we're on this one for at least another 10 years,
right? So. a good way to ensure that you can get another 10 years pretty easily is get it on mobile. I think they'll find a way to make this happen. And you're right. Switch 2 probably will happen either way. I don't remember where I read it, but I remember the Xbox report has not done much apparently. But big surprise.
Yeah, it's rough though.
Yep.
Because that's a lot of resources. All right. Next one here is from Adam GC, who says, "Sup doggos, do you think Switch 2 will have a 120 megahertz screen? Or hertz? How many? Whatever the big H and a Z is. Is that megahertz or hertz? Just hertz? 120 of those.
Big M, big H, little Z if it was megahertz.
The 120 frame rate screen, you think it's going to have that?
Yeah, no. I think if it has a higher frame rate screen, I think they'll do like the 90 hertz, which is what is that what the Steam Deck does? I think the Steam Deck has 90 hertz. Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to imagine it's going to be beyond 60.
I would like it.
I wouldn't know.
I would like it. I think that's pretty good. Like a sweet spot. You don't need much more than that. I know 120 is sort of the norm when you do go back past 60, but I can't see much of a difference between 90 and 120. But I think they would probably just try to settle in at 60 and go for that. If we're gonna pick one of these things, OLED would be number 1 for me. HDR would be 2.
Yeah.
90 hertz would be number 3. But we'll see.
I bet it'll just be 60, and I don't know. It wouldn't bother me too much. There's a lot of we have a lot of Switch 1 games that aren't reaching 60 frames per second anyway. So. I don't know why we would need too much more than 60.
Sean just point out that even like lowish end phones have 120 hertz frame rates these days, or refresh rates these days. So they might be in a situation where the screens that they're getting just sort of come this way, and it wouldn't be like that much cheaper to get the 60 hertz version. But I don't know. We'll see. Probably not.
Jedi Moss 4 says, "Wolf to the dogs with a Switch 2 announcement looming over the next few months. Does Nintendo still hold a Nintendo Direct that's mostly focused on selling the games they're releasing this fall/winter? The Switch 2 releases further out in the second half of 2025. Do they have more Switch games to announce for the first half?" I mean, they could do.
I mean, all those things we talked about, right? I mean, the things that didn't even get announced this one. So the Fire Emblem remake and
Metroid Prime 2.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
but I mean, the next thing could be that stuff, and also talking about the Switch 2 in a slightly more concrete way. If nothing more, just, maybe showing something, a release window, and maybe showing the Mario game, right? At least that.
Right.
So, I don't think they're going to do another full-on Nintendo Direct in it, like without giving us something either during that or before it on the Switch 2. That would maybe be a bit much, but it could still happen. I don't know. But, we saw with we had the Circana report today, right? And they're talking about, console sales are down everywhere, and that does include Switch 2. And I know, the software has been good. And a lot of people are like, wow, the Switch 2 still has, so much legs. We're still getting all this great software. Yes,
you keep saying
sales
Switch 2. You mean Switch
down.
1. You keep saying Switch 2. You're talking about
Switch 1.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, Switch 1. But yes, Switch 1 has all this great software still. It has all these legs, but no, the sales are slowing down, and they're going to continue to slow down. They are going to want to get that Switch 2 out, and they're going to want to start talking about it soon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they see the writing on the wall. They're definitely going to cash in this holiday with the Switch and make a ton of money off that thing still. And not most of it probably won't be from hardware sales. It'll be from selling games for people that already have a Switch. But they will try to make this transition happen as soon as it makes sense. And I think that they are happy they can take a little bit of time, but they're not going to take all the time. This is not going to be some years long process anymore. But by the end of 2025, 100% we will have moved on, and they will have figured out a way to make that transition very clear, probably sometime later this year at the earliest.
Face says, do you think Nintendo adds a third tier to NSO when the Switch 2 launches?
I hope not.
I hope not. Just look, it's almost like, increase the price of the tiers a little bit if you want to, especially if you're going to add a new console to it. But a third tier, I mean, honestly, just GameCube games isn't even enough to justify that. Maybe they think it would be to justify a whole nother tier of it. It would have to be more. I don't know what else more they can offer. Unless that's the only way you get the new Miiverse successor, which would be shitty.
Could a new tier a new, more expensive tier B, and here is a library of Switch 1 games that are all going to play better on your Switch 2.
Kind of like what PlayStation 5 had with like a lot of PS4 games on PlayStation Plus, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe.
They got rid of that, by the way, but yeah, something like
that. Yeah. It's like, here, you have immediate access to it. You know, it's funny because there'll be games that cost $60, but it'll also be like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, ARMS. Yeah, it'll be like, you know, the games from the first couple or few years there. Like that's interesting, Jeff.
They haven't done a Nintendo Selects sort of thing. Maybe this is the kind of thing. This is what that turns into going forward.
Although in a world where we're all kind of thinking like, oh no, Game Pass didn't work out. Like maybe that isn't the model. It's different. I know.
Right, and it's like, you know, having subscriptions is definitely still an important part of all these companies' strategies. Like having subscriptions that people like give you reliable money every month is hugely important. Whether or not it's disruptive in the way that they wanted Game Pass to be is a whole other conversation. But Nintendo being able to charge you $5 per month instead of $20 per year, that's probably worth it to them. So them trying to figure out a way to make that happen, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, that said, them wanting you to believe that these games continue to be worth $60 5, 6, 10 years after they came out might be way more important to them than getting your monthly subscription fee. And I bet that is the case. So it probably wouldn't be some huge offering. Maybe it would be a little bit smaller than I'm making it out to be.
Right. But you're right. There does have to be at some point where, especially, you know, a launch game for your last system cannot still be the full price it always was anymore, right? That's got to come. Next one here is from the Uncharted Wolf, who says, "Dogs, can I say a hot take on the condition that Jeff doesn't start yelling at me? Jeff, will you promise not to yell at the Uncharted Wolf?"
I might woof.
I think NSO is better than Virtual Console. I know we're tired of subscription services, but the value for $50 a year is more than enough. Also pushes me to try out more games that I otherwise would skip out on if they were on Virtual Console. Am I insane for this? I don't really have a problem with that tank. I honestly think I've played a lot more retro games on NSO than I ever did on Virtual Console, to be honest.
Yeah,
there aren't as many options, which sucks.
Right, I liked Virtual Console enough, but I don't know if I prefer Nintendo Switch Online, but I'm mostly content with it, and I get excited when we get new stuff, even though it's not as frequently as I would have liked. But that was the conversation about Virtual Console as well for forever. It's like, man, they are not dropping enough new stuff frequently enough. So that just might be how Nintendo does it. No, I'm fine with this.
And those prices were expensive, like you said. It used to be like $10 for a Nintendo 64 game. So
yep,
that's a lot. Haas says, "Hey, yo, dogs, for NSO." There's a lot of NSO questions this week. There have been some rather awesome profile icons released recently. Metroid Prime, Dread, and Luigi's Mansion 2 being the big ones in June. Huge fan of these with every big Nintendo release. Is it safe to assume that all of these purchases will carry over to Switch 2? It'd be weird for Nintendo to do all this effort to get rid of them going to next gen. I have picked up some of those Metroid ones. They look good. I hope so, Jeff. I hope that, at least on a base way, my Nintendo icon still has a lot of those stuff. I don't see why that needs to have some big overhaul. I hope maybe they can do more with it. But like a lot of the aesthetic changes need to be with the UI and the store and things like that. Not my icon page. That's fine.
Yeah, it's the one thing that concerns me is the friend limit cap on Nintendo Switch Online, which I've been at for a very long time, and I wonder if they would have to like completely rework everything to get past that the way PlayStation Network did. I'm just assuming there. I don't know if that's the case, but I do want them to expand Nintendo Switch Online in a lot of ways, add a lot of features, and I hope that they could just add on top instead of replacing it with something new. But we're gonna have to just wait and see. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a Geno icon right now. I'm not giving that up, all right? You know how long I've waited for that?
I try to have my own, but the kids always end up changing mine to what they like at the moment. So it's like Yoshi awful. Or something.
Oh, bullshit. I'd be mad. I start screaming at them.
Yeah, that always works.
Yeah. Duino Crossy says, "Hey, dogs, last year I beat the Mario RPG remake as my very first turn-based RPG, and I enjoyed it a lot. Now I'm finally trying out Thousand Year Door and absolutely in love with it. Definitely an early Game of the Year contender for me. Aside from the Mario and Luigi games, which I'm sure checking out, what other Nintendo/Nintendo adjacent RPGs do you recommend for someone like me to try out?"
The obvious ones, right? Chrono Trigger is probably number one.
Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6 are just, especially like Mario RPG, which is to me another. It's like a 16-bit era JRPG that is just very polished and
From Square
very
Enix,
fast-paced for one of those, and it's Square Enix.
Square,
So yeah, those
I guess.
Square, those two are fantastic and easy recommendations for sure. Check out Sea of Stars if you want to see something a bit more recent that is also in that wheelhouse for sure.
Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is the like a new one that you could try that I sort of takes this lineage a little bit. But I the reason I would bring it up is these are the RPGs I like, and I like that one. So I bet that you'll be able to get a lot out of that one as well. There was another one I was going to bring up. Now I can't remember. But yeah, plenty of options for you. Go ahead and check those out. But your next one definitely should be Superstar Saga. Play that. That one's an all-time great game.
Bench JC says, a lot of the Dream Nintendo remakes have now come out. Paper Mario, Mario RPG, Metroid Prime, which Bench left out, but Sean added. Thank you, Sean. What remakes do you want as much as you wanted those? That's an interesting question, because, there's a lot of them that I'm like, I don't even think it needs a remake. And a lot of times I would have been wrong. I would have said, you don't need to remake Thousand Year Door or Metroid Prime.
Right?
Yeah, and then, they do, and it's great. So, hey, I do think F-Zero GX is one that would really be cool with a remake, and just having that on a modern system. That's a great looking game. It was so spiffy. I think if you remake that, maybe, there's some clunkiness with the way that game's story mode works, where there's a shop involved to buy the next chapter. You could smooth some of that stuff out. That would be awesome. I'd be really excited if we got that.
Yeah, I for me, it's the one that comes to mind first, not actually a Nintendo game, is the one I've been saying for a while now, Shadow of the Empire. But in that same N64 zone, all of those N64 extreme sports games that I'm a big lover of. So Wave Race, Excite Bike 64, 1080. I kind of want them just to remake those instead of trying to make a new one, because I mean, they did make sequels to a lot of those games, and or some of them anyhow, and they didn't fully match up with what I wanted because the physics weren't quite right. So I'm like, just take those original games, beef them up, re-release them with the new visuals, and that'd be great. That truly is a dream, because I just don't think that they would think that would ever be worth it. But that's what I want.
And look, I love Mario Sunshine, and I know we got it in the All-Star Collection, but it was a pretty straightforward port.
That would be.
I'd really like to get that
stuff with
game.
That. Yeah.
I mean, I want that game at 60 frames per second.
Yeah,
and,
that'd be cool.
They can smooth out some of those rough edges. I think that game could benefit from
that is
a
the
remake,
Mario
for
game
sure.
that would be the most benefited from a remake. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I wish they would do that. All right, next up here's from B. Says, I just finished up Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, and while it's a much better game experience, still my least favorite SMT game of 3 through 5 and still has issues. What's a game where it got enhanced to be better and bigger, but still was underwhelming and not a favorite? That's interesting. I'm trying to think. Like Diablo 3, when it got its expansion, I think it was a lot better, and that mostly made me happy, but I was never going to be like, it's as good as Diablo 2 now. No, absolutely not. I would never say something like that. The whole Atlas, I don't know what you call them, the 1.5 versions of games that they always do are a little weird to me, because it is almost at this point now, and people are feeling it like this with Metaphor coming out. It's like, oh, maybe I should just wait a couple years and not bother playing it, because I don't really want to play through these games twice. They're 90 to 100 hours long. I have a lot of other JRPGs I'd like to play through. I never played through Persona 5 Royal, which is apparently a much better version of that game. Because I played Persona 5 and I did really like it, and it's hard for me to be like, here's another 100 hours I'm going to devote just to that. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that whole system.
Yeah, I kind of would get it if it was like, and now the game is coming out to a new platform, and it's like a lot of times it's like it's coming out to the same platform, and it's still that game, but just with more stuff. At least the way Atlas has done it in the past. So I never fully got why that would be better than, I don't know, a lot of other things where it's like, here's just new content for people who already beat the game. But it seems to work. People buy those games, whatever. I don't know. I'm struggling to think of an example of a game where it got enhanced to be better and bigger, but still was underwhelming and not a favorite. I guess there's probably games out there, but I think if I know I don't like a game, I usually don't check out the bigger and better version of it.
Chat saying Cyberpunk's a good example for me. I never even really saw the bigger and better stuff. I just finally started playing the base game.
Well,
when
it got updated, right? It was the big update that you played, and right. So that was
and I was still just disgusted with what I was playing.
I guess that would be my example too, because I definitely tried to play that new content, and I came out of it being I think I like this better than Mike, and I still am underwhelmed by this thing. I still think this is kind of disappointing and not the game I wanted it to be.
Right, because there are some people after that came out, I was like, this is not one of the best games ever. I was like, okay.
Yeah, not for me.
You say so. Next, I'm reading things. Next one is from
I was about to start reading them, so I think we were making the same mistake. I was like, and then I just was like, wait, Mike's reading these.
Dear Chef Grubb and esteemed guests, which of the following dormant Nintendo franchises do you think is most likely to get a new entry? Earthbound, F-Zero, Rhythm Heaven, Wario Land, or Pokemon Pinball?
This is tough, actually.
This is tough. I feel like it should be Pokemon Pinball. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to do. It'd be really fun. I think people would be excited.
Yeah, but can they make a mobile version of it that makes $100 million a year?
Maybe not 100, not as much as Pokemon Sleep does. It's weird. All these other ones, like Earthbound, is that one's tough because I know like the creator does a lot of other things and is busy, so who knows? F-Zero, it's like, why not?
It could, but it also very well could not.
That's the same situation with Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah,
and
but I think
Wario
Rhythm
Land
Heaven
for me.
is like kind of one of those ones where they just keep going back to because they're easy to make. I don't know. I think Rhythm Heaven's the most likely out of all these.
All right, I'll put my vote on Pokemon Pinball. You stick with Rhythm Heaven. We'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. Everyone remember this.
Screaming Madden says, buy one series, rent one series, banish one series. The Extended Mario Universe Platformers Edition. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Your choices are Yoshi's Island, Donkey Kong Country, and Wario Land. Oh, that's rough.
This is tough.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is I think Yoshi's Island is the best game out of all of those.
And I don't like any of the other ones.
All the other Yoshi games I do not care for.
Right.
Yoshi's Story is actually, like, I played it a lot as a kid, so I have some nostalgia for it, but Donkey Kong Country has some very good highs and is pretty consistent. Like, the bad one there is Donkey Kong Country 3, and that's still actually a very good game.
Yep, but you also get Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Those are good games. I don't like them as much as some people, but
I know, but they're good games. Yeah,
they're way better
that's
than
5
the
good
newer
games.
Yoshi games. Yeah, that's good. Wario Land, that's mostly just good games, and then like Master of Disguise or whatever. But everything there is pretty good, actually.
I think I'm buying Donkey Kong, renting Wario Land, and fucking banishing Yoshi's Island, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's rough. I hate it because again, Yoshi's Island is the best game there. I think it's the exact same thing. Yes. It's the best game out of all of them, but it just doesn't work as a whole series for whatever
really
reason.
like Donkey Kong Country 1 a lot, though, so that's a big part
and
for me.
I like Donkey Kong. I like 1, but I like Donkey Kong Country 2 a ton. Yeah. I think that one's great. All right, that's it for the mailbag. We got a few more. No, we don't. This is a place for a break. We have more things here. Actually, let's just keep going for a little bit because
sure.
I think we're good. Sorry for my bad reading abilities here. Symbiosis says, I just got a Steam Deck after using the ROG Ally for a few months. While the Ally is good, I think the Steam Deck OLED is a true engineering masterpiece. Whether console/computers hardware stand out in this way to you guys, where it seems like it's from the future, Dreamcast and the DS come to mind. Oh, yeah, when I took the Dreamcast home for the first time, when I rented it from fucking Hollywood Video, that was this is just the future. Now, it looked so pristine. Even like the first time I saw it in a store kiosk and it was just playing Sega Rally or something. Next time I saw Power Stone. Yeah. Gosh, it was just so gorgeous. Just the super smooth 60 frames per second. Oh, God, yeah. So Dreamcast is probably the big one for me. Xbox 360 was a big deal too because it was the one where like it had like that extended UI. It wasn't just the kind of ghost of the game. You had that the blades and all the online stuff. And then again, it was the first time I was really seeing HD gaming in a significant way. So everything looked very sharp at that point. So those are definitely probably 2 of the big ones for me. Yeah,
same for me for both of those. Obviously the first time seeing Mario 64 running in person was amazing. you know, I don't know, an iPod video I thought was pretty neat.
Watching Lazy Sunday and that one episode of The Office.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually did turn on my iTunes the other day, and I found some of the my iTunes purchases. It was like
I need to do
an
that.
episode of Moral Oral, like one of that like claymation show from Adult Swim.
God.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I think I used to actually buy episodes of Lost if I didn't catch them.
I think I had a couple of Lost episodes. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yes.
I need to go look at my purchases through iTunes, see if I can find that. That's incredible.
Yeah,
it's so messed up.
It was crazy. Yeah. I had something else in mind, but yeah, I don't know. Dreamcast was a big thing, absolutely. And Steam Deck OLED continues to be the thing that really blows me away. I hope that Roger Ally revision is very similar to the Steam Deck OLED in terms of how it makes that thing feel.
Beef Hammer says, Happy Argentina Independence Day to Jeff. Refuses to admit to Kojima that he's ashamed of his words and deeds after playing Metal Gear Solid 5 Grubb. And Mike refuses to admit to Sean he's wrong about Devil May Cry 5 being a 7 out of 10 Minotti. Never! Since Skydance is taking over Paramount instead of Sony, is this a clear sign that Sony will use some of that free $23 billion to invest into PlayStation VR 2 and its massive audience?
That's the only option.
And more importantly, also more Astro games. Oh, who knows? That money's just going to go back into the investor hole or something, wherever one gets $23 billion.
Right. I think what we're realizing is that the merger season is upon us now, and not necessarily acquisition season. Like these big companies are looking at like, man, we got to grow our subscriber base for video, and the only way to do that is by merging. So they'll find ways to use that money, but I don't think a lot of it's going to go to video games. So don't get your hopes up.
Weezyman says, hey, yo, doggos, if Giant Bomb buys an amusement park, what's the Grubb and Mikey rides? Do you have a cool line to wait in? Can I get a themed picture of me riding it? Is it just a plain hot dog cart on Main Street? That might be Grubb's thing, is the hot dog cart.
Yeah, I would have a hot dog cart, but I would also have... you remember, you probably never did it. You definitely never did it. The corkscrew at Cedar Point.
I know of it, but no, I never did it.
Right. It's like a really relatively short ride, but it's like just a nonstop burst of fun for the 45 seconds it goes, and just like two corkscrews like over like this place where everyone walks. And I always really, really liked that because the line was never too long, and I always had fun with it. So I think that'd be my ride. We call it the Grubb Worm.
Yeah, I just want something like a monorail or people mover that goes around a section of the park, but like you have to go through a giant statue of my head to get inside. And just like at Kennywood with the whale tongue, it's going to be like squishy when you walk through it. And then like I just narrate and tell you what you're looking at around the park as you go through this little car, and it's breezy and nice. So yes, the line will be very cool. It'll have pictures of me and other things that I like video games and Disney. It'll be fantastic.
I did listen to the monorail episode of 90s Disney, and it got me hyped. I'm like, oh man, I got to ride this thing.
Yeah, absolutely you do.
I think I take the ferry from where I'm at to get to the park. I think in general.
Where are you staying at?
Port Orleans, New Orleans.
No, you're
French
taking
Quarters.
a bus.
Taking a bus. Okay.
You're going to take a boat to Disney Springs.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
You'll be taking buses and Ubers.
Once I'm there, though, there's one day where we want to go from Magic Kingdom maybe to somewhere else. Is there something I should try to go to that would maybe make the most sense to take the monorail?
You could take the monorail to the Ticket Transportation Center for Magic Kingdom, and from there to Epcot.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll do then.
Yep.
That sounds great.
There you go.
All right. Fantastic.
Always Be Clothing says, in honor of Sean going to EVO in Vegas with record temps, what's the hottest convention experience you can remember suffering through? Man, E3 was always pretty well air conditioned, I feel like, right?
Yeah, mine was hosting the Giant Bomb at Night in that studio the first year where the air conditioner was broken, and when it was working, it was too loud, so we kind of didn't turn it on, and I was just sweating my ass off. It was rough stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just had to sit there for like hour blocks, and it was rough for me. So yeah, that we'll say that for sure.
Yep.
Ali Merkel says, I was just at Anime Expo helping out in a booth, and I had a friend take me to learn about VTubers from Check Notes HoloLive. That being said, I'm still not sure what they are. My question is, when are we seeing a Beef and Cheddar Boys cute uwu VTuber? Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
I can make that happen. We can do some VTubers.
Yeah.
The easiest way to explain a VTuber is they're just wrestlers.
There you go.
Yeah, wrestling personas.
Anime wrestler, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
I like the VTubers.
Sure.
there's that one Vanille that I like just randomly rated because she was playing Resident Evil when I was, and I actually like pop into her channel a lot because she does Majora Mask and Ocarina of Time randomizers a lot and things like that. It's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be good. We should do a beef and cheddar VTuber thing. That'd be good.
I'll make it happen.
Thank you. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, "Hey, Mike, Jeff doesn't deserve a Delight Club. Actually, Minotti and Jeff, Game S Hall of Fame. Never heard of her. Grubb. Hey, we did that one like 2 months ago.
Yeah, we'll do another one. It's just not every week or month.
What game closes out the September Fall Nintendo Direct? Why will it be Captain Toad 2, Wingo's Revenge? And will Jeff forget he played and reviewed it because he's a bad person?"
Yeah.
Well, definitely yes on the last one.
For sure.
There. Man, I don't know if we get a fall direct. Maybe we get a December direct. Fall seems a bit.
Maybe get like a partner showcase or something like that. Partner direct, something like that.
Indie World, something like that.
Yeah, they do typically do 2 Indie Worlds a year, right? Maybe, I think so.
I forget.
Yeah, I don't know. If they do have a direct, what would be the closer? I don't know at this point.
Who knows?
Metroid Prime 2 now available, like something like that.
Right.
Something small.
Max says, "Hey, dogs, it seems like every service game gets criticized for an expensive skin, grindy progression, or locking characters behind a battle pass. Why does it seem like the MiHoYo games get a pass for their monetization model?"
Because the fucking players are too horny to think straight.
They're fucking good. The AAA games that have that monetization. It's not like they're like every other game is bad.
The MiHoYo players expect to be taken advantage of. Also, there's a lot of game there that you could play without having to spend anything. That's what people always say. So, I don't know. For these big companies, the assumption is you're a giant corporation making billions of dollars. You don't need to be so greedy and aggressive, but they're like, actually, that's how we make this whole thing make sense.
Because boobs. You can just say
It's
it.
because of boobs. Yeah, that's right. If more of the skins in these games from EA were quote unquote fan service, you would hear less complaining.
Toshi says Zelda Zone Zero when?
Any second now.
That'd be a thing.
I'll play
That would be a thing.
Zone Zero. Is it on PC?
It's everywhere. It's
it's on
like
PC.
it's like
Okay.
like microwave too. I don't know.
Remember the villain in Hyrule Warriors? She seemed like a MiHoYo character. She seemed out of place in Zelda, if you remember her. I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting choice. Geo Huey Flow says, "Hey, all, long-time listener. I just made the jump to Patreon." Thank you, Geo. I recognize you from my Twitch chat. Thank you so much. Late last year, I had to get my foot amputated, and it's been a process. Just want to let you all know that both Last and the Nintendogs and Game of the Sides were highlights of my week while in recovery. Thank you both for making great content. Thank you, Gio. I hope everything is going smoother now, but I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, we're glad to be there for you anytime, and I'm glad that your recovery is progressing.
And that is it on the mailbag. We'll take a break, Jeff. We've got some more super chats. We're going to talk about a few things we've been playing, and then we'll wrap things up here.
Sounds good.
She has a mole on her titty. What else do you want?
That was the takeaway from that stream. Yeah.
She has one on her leg, one on her face, and one on her titty, just for no reason.
Jeff, let me say this to you.
Yeah,
Zelda
please.
Zone Zero. It's not a Jeff game. Not even remotely a Jeff game.
Is it an action, like character action game?
Yeah, it has.
It's like an action RPG. Like, I didn't realize how RPG it is, but like it's very RPG actually.
Once you start unlocking all the wenjins and all that shit.
People keep saying that word. I don't know what they're saying. Wenjins?
It's W engine is short for something engine, but like Jan was
Waifu
not
engine.
getting anything off of his gacha rolls other than the W engine. So we're just like, man, look at all these wenjins.
That's crazy. Yo, my first rolls I got like S tier characters.
Yeah, I know. Like I did one and got some A tier duplicate, but yeah, Jan was not getting it. I will say though, Jeff, first of all, don't stream on Giant Bomb because that'll be a terrible stream for you. But just download it randomly at some point and try it because I think you should see how it looks.
Okay.
It's very, very stylish.
Right.
Well,
That is half the reason I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Jet Set Radio meets Splatoon, but like very well animated.
It's crazy good.
Yeah.
It's like the best cell shading I have ever seen.
Yeah,
like, it's better
it's
than,
pretty wild.
It's different. It's different from like ArcSys cell shading. This one
She's turned into
sometimes
a
when
maid.
this, well,
Yeah.
they when you get like when you unlock like an item or something, I was like confused because like, oh, this is just like a PNG. Then you can turn around, it's like a 3D option. It's like, holy shit, these just fool me. They fool me, Jerry. They fool me.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
There we go. We sucked him in, everybody.
Yeah, I got the installer tool now.
I think he has like the best character action game. Like, I don't know, in years. I don't
know if I go that far.
I haven't had what other like.
Whoa! You haven't played Stellar Blade? Is very good.
Yeah. Is it as good as Stellar Blade?
Stellar Blade.
You don't even know because it's only on PS5. You shut up over there.
Yeah,
right, those are like $7,000 in your country.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it's like fucking half of the country. It's just like
ZZZ's combat is
unappealing to me. It's like this shit.
Yeah, I know. ZZZ is very simple, but it's satisfying once you just start switching between all the characters.
And when you get more characters, because the characters are like weapons, kind of.
Yeah. Like once you switch between close range and range, it's cool.
I think Dan's getting one of those hard drives that has all the games installed for PS2. And he's going to buy one off Etsy because it's not that much more than just a hard drive itself. And it's got a list of games. It's like, that's a lot. This is pretty cool. I might try to do this myself.
It's funny. He was like, link me to it, and I was like, I'm not trying WoW like Dan does. He couldn't go into a desktop mode on his Steam Deck. I'm like, Dan, I don't think you're gonna be able to do this. But
yeah,
I believe in him.
Well, he's gonna get the thing that just installs it basically, or it basically plugs it in through the adapter.
He is going that route. Okay, yeah, right. That's pretty. Yeah, yes. That's fair.
Yes, exactly. And he shared the list of games, and it's like, 400, 500 long or something like that, maybe longer. Yeah, it's got all the games you want and a lot of the deep cuts that are pretty cool. Let me see if it has Flipnik on there. Let's see here. Flip.
The other day I was thinking, like, I could literally just download the entire library of like every NES, SNES, every game ever, and never had to like. You? Yeah, I was like, I could just do that and forget about like.
It doesn't have Flipnik. This is horse shit. He should get his money back.
All right, we can get going.
Cool.
All right.
Every time I leave, I come back and there's a whole thing going on with you three. It's like you're conversing and talking.
Sorry that we do this.
Filling airtime. Wow.
I know it's weird that anyone would talk about anything other than when you're around. But
you don't sit here in silence when I'm not around.
I do all the boring conversations for when you're not here. All right?
Yeah, I do like the assumption you're like, people have nothing to talk about if I'm not there.
It's Poochie syndrome.
The point of the world turns up whenever I walked out.
All right, let's get to it. And we are back in this podcast that is titled "Last of the Nintendogs." Me, Mike Minotti,
this energy,
and my host Jeff Grubb. It's out of control.
Just good podcasting here.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing it for so long. I really know how it goes. Oh no, my webcam flash screen again. I'm a pro.
I've been doing it the whole time. Don't worry about it.
So Jeff, what you been playing?
Do you want me to read the rest of these super chats first, or do that?
Why don't we do that at the end?
Okay, sounds good. I played some Star Wars Hunters on the Nintendo Switch, and I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of what I want from one of these mobile games that are actually available on the Switch, where it's a real game. It's a real like third-person shooter with all of the sort of functionality and abilities you would want, where like this is a character and it's a hero and it has certain abilities and has an ultimate, and that's going to mean I'm charging it up over time by getting some shots in, and then I drop down and I shoot my rockets off my back or whatever. And that's cool. And then the matches themselves are really bite-sized. I don't think I played one that took more than, I want to say 3 minutes, but definitely not more than 5 minutes. So it's really, really bite-sized chunks, and I was mostly fine with what I played. It's not like some Game of the Year contender or anything like that, but it's it delivers on what it says it's going to do, which is Star Wars shooter in a mobile bite-sized package.
Who are you playing as in these games? Like, who are the characters? Are they OCs or is it established Star Wars people?
They are, I think, entirely OCs, and they definitely feel like, Sonic OCs, like Star Wars versions of Sonic OCs in some ways, where, I don't know, they're a bit too, this is like so unfair because this is what Star Wars is to so many people, but they're very juvenile designs, but I don't know, I'm mostly okay with it. I'm playing as a bounty hunter lady that I think is actually pretty cool looking. And there's a handful of other characters that I think look pretty cool. There's a droid Jedi called like J3DI or something like that.
Not Skippy, a different droid Jedi.
A different droid Jedi. And I think that's pretty cool. He looks neat. Yeah, but then there's like, a little freak that like sits on a droidica, and the two Jawas that stand on each other's shoulders and stuff like that. And it's those kinds of things. And I think in terms of variety of having different kinds of characters in the hero shooter, delivers on that. I said this on the Bombcast. Most of it's not delivering on the Star Wars-ness of it that I would want.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. There's a good chance I don't. Not gonna lie, there's a good chance I don't.
Yeah. It's a lot of glup shittos. RT-Bic is what it feels like. Just a lot of glup shittos. I think it's the kind of thing where maybe it's something we fire up on like a random UPF on Giant Bomb.
Sure.
But beyond that, I wouldn't. There's not much reason to check in on it because it's it feels like a game for kids. Like it feels like a shooter for kids. It feels like even a lot simpler than Splatoon in some ways. There's not a lot of objectives, at least in the main mode that I have unlocked. Maybe there's other modes, but I haven't seen them if there are. But the main mode, it's just first team to get 20 kills, and that's it. So
very simple.
And then I played some F-Zero 99. That got updated.
Oh, nice.
And I've been meaning to check back in on it. That game still rules. People are very good at it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right now, our window to get some wins in for us, I think, may have passed.
Yeah, I was definitely like, oh, man. Because, it does that thing when you start up a race where it flashes, like, how many wins each person has. And I'm like, oh, sweet. It's showing my 3 wins. And then, like, the 4 people after that was, like, 99 plus, 99 plus, 99 plus, 99 plus.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh no. Oh my God. What? You could win that many times? That doesn't seem right. And I got crushed in some of these races to the point where my strategy became, well, if I don't crash out, I'll at least make the cut because all these other people are crashing out, and I'll just like finish 30 seconds after the next closest person. So it was really rough. But that was like I was doing a mini Grand Prix. With 3 races where like I had some custom rules where there was no attacking. You couldn't do the spin attack and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get some of these other races, get some practice, maybe switch up my vehicle because not many people were using the vehicle I was using. I'm like, oh, is that out of the meta or something? So, but that's like, oh, that would be investing some time into this game, which I'm happy to do at a certain point, but also it's like, am I even going to be able to get good enough? So that like competency question is still up in the air for this thing, but everything else about it is just still so good. It feels so good. It looks great. I love the visual style. The music's fantastic. The courses, all the courses they've added have been really good. The music, of course, just phenomenal. So I was just happy to kind of be back in it.
Yeah, there's always something about like that first few months of a game when like, the meta is not super established and, there's a lot of people playing it. And yeah, all these games eventually kind of get pretty, I don't want to say sweaty, but a little sweaty. There was like something like, man, I don't know if I want to play the game so much where I get to a point where winning doesn't even feel special anymore. It's like, oh, wow, my 500th win. Cool.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's almost like I got that one win. I beat the game.
Right.
I did it. I'm done.
Yeah, and that's kind of maybe a good way to think about these games. And for people that like this is their game, I'm very happy for them. I'm glad they're still playing. And I was able to get into a match really quickly. It filled out immediately, so still a lot of people playing it. And then I played more Monkey Ball. That's a good game. That's a game I quite enjoyed. Well,
maybe I'll start that on my trip.
Yeah, start it, and then when you get back, we'll do another stream of that game because
okay,
because I know that Dan has been enjoying it, and there's some stuff in there that in the multiplayer that Jan didn't do when they streamed it with GB Junior and stuff like that. So it'd be fun to check that out.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely will. No, I was playing. First, I played a little bit of Turok 2, the remaster from Night Dive, which is like a spiffy remaster. But God, Turok 2 is a lot. They were just like, we're gonna really impress people with just how big our levels are.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're big. They are big and they're non-linear, and there's like objectives hidden in the middle of them that you have to complete to get to the end of the level, and then you also have to find the end of the level because that could be somewhere different too. So like level 1 I did okay, then level 2 like I was like watching some 4-hour long YouTube video, right? I got through the whole video just trying to get through this level, and then at the end I was like, I don't even know where the exit is. So I was like, I had a guide open on my phone. I'm like, why is Turok 2 a guide game, man? I want to just shoot some dinosaurs. There's a lot about it that is fun, but it's kind of a lot. So
it feels like a game that came out a year after GoldenEye, where it's like, oh shit, we gotta like add a bunch of stuff into there to compete with that, and it's like they didn't take anything out; they just kept adding more and more.
Yeah, Turok's a weird franchise like that, because then like Turok 3 is like the game that came out in the post Half-Life world. It's kind of like a lot more story driven, and that one got a remaster recently, and I'm kind of curious what that one might feel like. But
I still have a soft spot for Turok overall, though.
No, me too. I like Turok. I still like Turok more than GoldenEye, which I know upsets people, but I'm speaking my truth. But it's like, okay, I beat 2 levels, and that took like 6 hours. Maybe I'll go back to it, but no, I'm finally going through Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster, which I've been putting on for a bit, and it's just immediately so fantastic and so evident that game is an absolute masterpiece. It's so beautiful. The music is incredible. The pacing is insanely good and fast. So many interesting things happening just in the first few hours of that game. So many incredible characters. So that is just it's been delightful to go back to Final Fantasy VI. Been really enjoying it.
Yeah, you talking about it recently has made me think about replaying that game, which I definitely enjoyed what I played of it. I never beat it, but I enjoyed a lot of that game.
It's good stuff. But that's it for me. I do have the 3DS charging, so might fiddle around with that. But we have Nintendo World Championship coming up soonish. So.
Yeah, we won't have it in time to talk about next week, unfortunately. But the week after that, we'll definitely have a lot to say.
Cool. All right, Jeff, why don't we do the rest of these super chats here?
Yeah, let me get them. I had them right over here on this window. Let me click that. Okay, I believe it's this one. The first super chat from GG Dreamcast, who says, hey, I got nothing to say, but y'all are great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, GG.
Appreciate it.
Nintendogs writes in, says, I'm in a Digimon mood. Which is better, Digimon Survive or Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Collection? Both are on Switch, which I'm trying to stick to. I know Jan tried one of them. I think he tried Cyber Sleuth, and I kind of remember him.
Yeah.
I think it was okay. I don't know.
I remember people liked Survive, but it was apparently very text heavy.
Yeah, I heard that the tactics part is not very good. I also want to get into these games, but
that's right.
They're so big. I can help you boys out with this one because I've actually tried some of these. Survive, I haven't touched much because I heard that it wasn't all that good. I've heard very middling things about it across the board because visual novel mixed with light tactics, apparently. Cyber Sleuth, on the other hand, is just a Persona clone.
Oh.
And I thought it was a little too slow for my taste because it knocks out Persona 4, which is a very slow starting game. But my other friend who really likes Persona and also likes Digimon really seemed to enjoy that one. So if both are on your radar, Cyber Sleuth is probably the way to go.
All right, then.
Okay. Maybe we should just play Digimon World or, on a PlayStation emulator.
Hell yeah.
That would be the way to go.
M2LJ says, playing Mario Sunshine at work at 1080p 60 frames per second on the Ein Odin 2 Mini. It's really the perfect pocketable device. Highly recommend. Yeah, I keep wanting to get an Ein Odin. They're just a bit too expensive for me to like pull the trigger on them, but I need to just do it eventually.
I didn't know you could just brute force 60 frames per second on Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that was an option.
I think Dolphin does that. Maybe it's a patch or something, but I'm pretty sure Dolphin just does
Interesting.
it. So. Big Jimbo Ryan (parentheses on vacation lols) says, "Can we all agree that Bale is a bad dragon?" Well, he's the fucking dead dragon in my game. I don't know.
Well, he's pretty dead.
Yeah.
And my friend who Jeff killed seemed to not like him very much. So yeah, maybe you're onto something.
El Grug says, which Bang Boo is the most like Jan in ZZZ? I think it's the butler that fights enemies by throwing pancakes at them, or the shark Bang Boo. I can't believe you made me say Bang Boo.
I think it's definitely the butler. I think Sean has a picture of this butler. Yes, it's this butler. Absolutely.
Let me see this.
100%.
Counterpoint, check out the second picture of the avocado.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still feeling butler.
There's one that puts down the top.
That looks like a meep. I think Addy would think those are meeps for sure.
Like the butler just straight up looks like Jam, but the avocado I think is spiritually Jam.
I could see.
Maybe.
They're minions. Rabbits.
That does it for Super Chats, Mikey.
Well then, that does it for the show.
Fucking did it.
And you know what, Jeff? Sometimes you simply know when you just recorded the worst podcast in history. and we all got to be here and be a part of it. So that was nice.
That reminds me, Imran was in my dream the other night. I can't remember what we were doing, and I was
wow.
like trying to remember it so bad because I wanted to tell him, but he definitely popped up in my dream, and that's where that line is from, where Imran had a dream that he was doing a show with us, and then we said that. So that's our
great.
intro. I'm hitting the button.
Playing the music, by the way.
Hit that button. Well, I
doing it now.
berate chat for. Give me a few more thumbs up so we get to 100. Everybody, if you're watching, appreciate it. And it wasn't a question; it's something you had to do. Thank you. So yeah, I won't be here Thursday, but Jeff, you'll figure something out for Game S Decides. I assume.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Well, there'll be a show for sure, so definitely tune in for that. We'll have some fun on Giant Bomb tomorrow, everybody. Won't be Blight Club. Blight Club will probably be back next week, right? You can do it next week, right? I think so.
Yeah, I'll be back. So, yeah, Dan's recovered for the most part now. So, I
Right.
think, yeah, your long break is over soon, but not yet.
Right. Next week will be a hell of a thing because Jan's out again, so we'll have to figure out a bunch of stuff. But we'll get it going. But yeah, fun stuff on the site this week. Yeah, I don't know. I might stream this weekend. I did some Elden Ring. Maybe I'll save beating the boss Elden Ring if I can stream. Bye, everybody.
All right, Jeff.
Is
We'll
she
sue each
Canada?
other here.
Okay.
It's hard, Jeff. It's hard.
Beat my meat circus.
No, I like dicks.